Hi everyone, my name is Festus Izuka and I will be presenting my paper titled The Impact of AI and Digital Tools on Project Management of Virtual Teams. This presentation looks at how these tools are changing the way project managers coordinate, how they communicate, and how they take decisions in virtual environments. So why does this matter in today's workplace? Well, during the pandemic and right after the pandemic, virtual team has now become the new norm in many organizations. The workplace has gone global, and several teams now operate across different countries and different time zones. It's no longer a single workspace. This is good because it brings flexibility and access to talent, but it also creates challenges in communication, accountability, coordination, and trust. Now with AI, with AI and digital tools, they actually do help project managers close those gaps. But before diving into how they do that, let's review a few key concepts behind these technologies. This concept here forms the foundation of the discussion, starting with AI, that's artificial intelligence. So what is AI? This is a technology that learns from data and predict outcomes or automate tasks. Next is digital tools, where these are collaborative platforms like Microsoft Teams, Asana, or Slack. Also, we have virtual teams. These are distributed groups, usually working remotely across different time zones and usually connected by technology. And finally, is human AI collaboration. Well, this is a shared model where AI handles routine data while humans focus on judgment and context. Now that we know a bit of these terms, let's look at the core challenges virtual project teams face. Most virtual teams struggle with some problems like communication breakdown. This is largely due to lack of face-to-face interactions, making it hard to read body language or tone. And this can lead to issues like trust and accountability, especially when people rarely meet in person. They start feeling isolated, part of which boils down to time difference, culture, the global change, and working remotely. Another challenge is coordination overload from multiple platforms. They work with different platforms and it can cause coordination overload. And finally is the ethical and privacy issues from these digital systems. So now that we understand some of these challenges, how do we solve them? The good news is that technology is responding to these challenges. Most organizations are leaning to these AI and digital tools to help get work done and to coordinate teams. They've seriously upgraded project management, making it go beyond basic spreadsheets. They can do predictive analysis, do smart reporting, while some other platforms like Microsoft Teams and Jira help to connect teams and keep projects moving. Now that brings me to the research question. How do these tools and AI actually reshape communication? How do they improve coordination and the decision-making process in virtual project teams? What factors actually influence their success? Now, in order to answer this question, I looked at three key areas. The first is communication. This is where AI has the most visible impact. AI and digital tools are actually changing how global teams communicate. For example, NLP tools, natural language processing. This lets teams collaborate across languages in real time, regardless of the language that is being spoken. While meeting assistants like Copilot helps to summarize meetings and create follow-ups automatically. Even chatbots help maintain fast responses and reduce human error in communication. They also ensure that key updates aren't missed. However, they can't replace emotional understanding or detect tone accurately. There's also privacy concerns, especially when these systems record and process conversations. So Technology helps, but it must be balanced with human touch. Now, beyond communication, these tools also improves how we monitor projects and anticipate risk. In terms of risk forecasting, AI and machine learning models are now being used for predictive analysis. What it does, they dig into project data, they flag delays, they catch cost overruns, and they spot workload bottlenecks. Honestly, they are more accurate most times than people. These tools take risk detection to another level, hitting up to 90% accuracy, better than traditional methods. Take IBM for example. They've got these AI-based dashboards, analytic dashboards, to monitor project performance and highlight risk before they become problems. This actually gives project managers a real chance to get ahead of issues, not just to react. But none of this works without a solid, clean, unbiased data. AI is only as good as the data you feed it. Now, looking at the third key area, we will see how automation reshapes daily project operations. Automation is all about efficiency and preventing team burnout. AI helps automate repetitive tasks, allowing people to spend their time collaborating and planning. Some tools like Asana AI and Epic Flow automate scheduling. They help to allocate resources and balance workloads for global teams. That means creating more space for strategic thinking. Honestly, automation isn't perfect. It creates its own risk, ranging from biased algorithms, which might favor certain team members or time zones, thereby creating unfair distributions, as noted in STAR 2022 publication. That's why project managers need to double check AI recommendations. Don't just take the algorithms word for it. People need to review the results and keep things fair and accurate. Despite the incredible benefits, these tools are not magic bullets. The most significant AI challenge I found is what we call the black box problem. Now, so why is it called a black box problem? It's because many sophisticated AI reasoning models are hidden. Their codes are not open to the public. They give answers like, for example, this project will take 3 weeks late, will be 3 weeks late, but they don't say why or explain the algorithm used. This makes some managers and stakeholders a bit uneasy because if people can't understand the logic behind AI's recommendation, they often hesitate to trust the insights. Transparency is always key. Other than the black box issue, the high cost of these tools can exclude smaller companies from using them. Another issue I find is around ethics and fairness. Ethical concerns remain a major issue because AI introduces ethical challenges in privacy, transparency, and equity. The bias in scheduling tools can unfairly distribute workloads or even ignore time zones. For instance, AI may unknowingly favor certain time zones or departments. So to counter this, managers need to conduct regular audits, they need to enforce data governance, and they need to provide channels for employees' feedback. Ethical AI use is not just about compliance. It's about maintaining trust, fairness, and inclusion in virtual teams. So that takes us to the human AI collaboration. The most effective result comes from hybrid collaboration. This is when we combine AI efficiency with human judgment. AI handles the data processing while humans focus on strategy and context. This partnership actually builds trust within virtual teams. The challenge is getting the right balance because too much automation causes detachment, while too little limits innovation. So project leaders must decide on when to rely on AI and when to stop and when to step in personally. So that leads us to the next slide of where does the field currently stand? Well, the field is progressing rapidly, but the progress isn't the same everywhere. AI use is expanding in project management, but the progress is uneven. Most of the success stories come from large organizations with strong digital infrastructure, while the smaller ones still face barriers such as cost, limited technical know-how, lack of integration, and a whole lot. I would say overall, AI in project management looks bright, but we are still in a transitional stage. We are gradually moving from trial and error phase to decision based on real evidence. To tie all of this together, I'll share a few personal reflections. So, while working on this paper, um, it has taught me a lot. Um, I find that technology does improve systems, but it doesn't make virtual teams effective. The success still depends on the people. AI, digital tools, all of that, they are good to use, but success largely depends on leadership, communication, and adaptability. Now, because when we mix empathy with solid analytics, that's when digital project management actually delivers lasting results. On a final note, I would say managers should treat AI as a partner, not as a replacement to human judgment. So that begs the question, where should researchers look next to improve all of this? Looking ahead, several areas deserve more attention. First, let's start with explainable AI. Explainable AI needs to step up because users want to see how AI makes decisions, not just the final results. It needs to be transparent and understandable. Also, studies need to look at the long-term impact. Long-term impact of how AI affects trust and how it affects team performance over months and years. We also can't ignore the global picture. AI works differently across different cultures, and researchers need to dig deep into those differences to understand how to modify it and improve it. Next is ethics. Researchers need to figure out a way to guarantee. They need to figure out a way to guarantee fairness, accountability, and inclusion. This shouldn't be optional. If future research can take care of these priorities, I think and I believe it will push the field forward, and it will bring it closer to something people can actually use. Um, my final key takeaway is that AI and digital tools has changed the way we communicate. It has changed how we work together. It has changed how we make decisions in virtual teams. But they only make a difference when integrated thoughtfully. Yes, when integrated thoughtfully, they make a big difference. And this integration is a mix of human oversight, transparency, and ethics. In conclusion, the most successful model is hybrid. When AI handles data and humans provide the context and leadership, these tools work best as a partner, not a boss. Hybrid model still is the best right now. AI just needs to handle the data, and the humans provide the context and leadership. Thank you. The next slide is I'll be showing you a couple of references I used for this presentation and for my work. These are the sources I used for this research and presentation. Together, they provided both the theory, the real-world insights, behind AI and digital tools, how they impact on project management and virtual teams. Thank you for listening.